In Essos, Daenerys Targaryen places her dragon eggs over hot coals, intuitively hoping they will hatch. When she reaches into the fire to retrieve them, her handmaid rushes forward in a panic and knocks an egg from her hands. While the handmaid suffers severe burns, Daenerys remains completely unharmed, realizing that the blood of the dragon protects her from the heat. In Winterfell, Bran Stark continues to have recurring dreams of the three-eyed raven, who leads him toward the Stark ancestral crypts. Meanwhile, his life gains a sense of normalcy as a custom-designed saddle is completed, allowing him to experience the joy of riding a horse again, despite his paralysis. Theon Greyjoy urges Robb Stark to retaliate against the Lannisters for the attack on Ned and the attempt on Bran's life. Robb hesitates, noting that such a move would ignite a massive war between the North and the South. Theon counters that the war has already begun, and that in Ned's absence the responsibility to lead falls solely on Robb. During a ride, Bran becomes separated from his guards and is ambushed by a group of wildlings. They demand he dismount, but Bran explains he is a cripple and cannot walk. As they begin to strip his saddle, Robb arrives and kills one of the attackers. A tense standoff ensues when a wildling holds a knife to Bran's throat, forcing Robb to drop his weapon. Just as the situation turns dire, Theon shoots the wildling from behind with an arrow, saving Bran. Robb, though grateful, is shaken by the risk Theon took. He spares the wildling woman, Osha, and orders her to be taken back to Winterfell as a prisoner. Imprisoned in the sky cells of the Vale, Tyrion Lannister grows desperate. He bribes the jailer, Mord, promising him gold in exchange for a message to Lady Lysa Arryn. Tyrion claims he wishes to confess his crimes. In a mockingly public display before the court, Tyrion confesses to a lifetime of petty mischief, but denies any involvement in the attempt on Bran's life or the death of Jon Arryn. When Lysa orders him back to the cells, Tyrion demands a trial by combat. Tyrion names Jaime Lannister, but Lysa demands the trial happen immediately. A sellsword named Bronn volunteers to fight for Tyrion. Bronn defeats the Vale's knight, Ser Vardis Aegon, by using agility over heavy armor. Following the victory, Tyrion is freed. He tosses a purse of gold to Mord, proving that a Lannister always pays his debts, and departs the Vale. Eddard, Ned Stark is recovering from his leg injury when King Robert and Cersei visit him. Robert demands that Ned order Catelyn to release Tyrion to keep the peace. When Cersei insults Robert's leadership, he strikes her. Robert then reinstates Ned as Hand of the King, threatening to give the position to Jaime Lannister if Ned refuses again. Robert then departs for a multi-day hunting trip. Meanwhile, Arya continues her water dancing lessons with Syrio Forel, and Joffrey attempts to reconcile with Sansa by gifting her a necklace. Despite Sansa's infatuation, Ned realizes the city is too dangerous and orders both daughters to prepare for a return to Winterfell. While studying the book, The Lineages and Histories of the Great Houses, Ned notices a biological pattern. Every member of the Baratheon house for generations had black hair. He realizes that Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen, all of whom have golden hair, cannot be Robert's biological children. In the Dothraki Sea, Daenerys participates in a sacred ritual for her unborn son, consuming a raw stallion's heart. She declares that her son will be named Rhaego, the stallion who mounts the world. The Dothraki embrace her with fervor. Witnessing his sister's rising power, a bitter Viserys attempts to steal the dragon eggs to fund an army. Ser Jorah Mormont stops him, forcing Viserys to leave empty-handed. Later, during a feast, a drunken Viserys draws a sword, a crime in the sacred city, and threatens Daenerys' womb. Khal Drogo calmly agrees to give Viserys the golden crown he was promised. However, the crown is actually molten gold. Drogo pours the liquid gold over Viserys' head, killing him instantly. Watching her brother die, Daenerys coldly remarks, "He was no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon." The story continues with the introduction of Tywin Lannister, the father of Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion. Tywin is seen skinning a stag while lecturing Jaime about the family's reputation. He is disappointed that Tyrion is being held by the Starks, and that Jaime failed to kill Ned Stark when he had the chance. Tywin commands Jaime to prepare for a war that will define the Lannister legacy for centuries, unaware that Tyrion has already managed to win his freedom from the Vale. In King's Landing, Ned Stark confronts Cersei privately. He reveals his discovery of her incestuous relationship with Jaime and the truth that Robert is not the father of her children. Cersei admits everything, explaining that she had Jon Arryn murdered and Bran pushed from the tower to protect this secret. Ned, driven by his sense of honor, offers her a chance to flee with her children before Robert returns from his hunt. Cersei coldly dismisses his mercy, famously stating that in the Game of Thrones, one either wins or dies. At Winterfell, the wildling prisoner Osha is being interrogated. When Meister Lewin asks why she fled from the north, she warns him that the White Walkers have returned from their long slumber and are marching with an army of the dead. Lewin remains skeptical, believing them to be extinct, but Osha insists they were only sleeping. Meanwhile, at the wall, a riderless horse belonging to Benjen Stark returns, causing great concern for Jon Snow. During the assignment of roles for the new recruits, Jon is upset to find he has been appointed as a steward rather than a ranger. Samwell Tarly consoles him, suggesting that Lord Commander Mormont is personally grooming Jon for leadership. Later, as Jon and Sam take their night's watch vows before a heart tree, Jon's direwolf, Ghost, discovers a severed human hand, signaling a grim omen from the lands beyond the wall. Back in the capital, Robert's brother brings news that the king has been mortally wounded by a boar. On his deathbed, Robert asks Ned to write his final will, naming Ned as the protector of the realm until Joffrey comes of age. Ned secretly alters the wording to rightful heir, instead of naming Joffrey directly. Robert also asks Ned to cancel the assassination order on Daenerys Targaryen before he passes away. Following the king's death, Ned instructs Varys to stop the assassins and orders that Robert be given milk of the poppy for his pain. In the Dothraki Sea, Daenerys convinces Khal Drogo to cross the ocean and reclaim the Iron Throne. While at a local market, Ser Jorah Mormont receives a royal pardon, but his intuition leads him to stop a merchant from giving Daenerys poisoned wine. When Drogo learns of this attempt on his wife's life, he is filled with a protective rage. He vows to invade the Seven Kingdoms and gives the assassin a slow, brutal death by dragging him behind a horse. Tensions peak in King's Landing when Renly Baratheon urges Ned to seize control of the castle, and Joffrey immediately. Ned refuses, preferring a peaceful transition to the true heir, Stannis Baratheon. He confides the truth about Joffrey's parentage to Peter Baelish, who advises Ned to make a deal with the Lannisters instead. Ned ignores the advice, trusting Baelish to secure the City Watch's loyalty. Finally, Ned is summoned to the throne room where Joffrey has already been crowned. Ned presents Robert's decree, but Cersei tears it up and brands him a traitor. In a sudden and violent betrayal, the City Watch slaughters Ned's guards. Littlefinger puts a knife to Ned's throat, making it clear that his loyalty was always a lie.